Hey guys, what's going on? I'm doing a quick review of EzAlgo. So I did one just probably a few days ago now. It looks like the 30th of November. It's the 2nd of December just now. So yeah, a few days ago. Just going through and looking at the different indicators. This is the review that I've started. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can go and check it out. I'm really getting into all these different indicator systems. I've looked at algo, Algo Pro, which is my current favorite. I'll leave a link for that as well. I'll leave a link for Lux as well. They have their pros and their cons, and I try and go through these reviews and on these blog posts and videos and try and figure out which ones are good for particular trading styles, particular people that are doing particular trading styles and things. So basically, got a question the other day. So I did a video basically on this EzAlgo, and it was showing like the longer time frames. So I think this is like an hourly chart. So a lot of these algorithms, these indicator systems, show the buys and the sells as these red and blue arrows. In this case is a buy, sell is a red. And a lot of them will show them like really quite accurate results on longer time frames where there's less noise. You'll be like, wow, I could easily bought here, sold up here somewhere, bought here, sold up here somewhere by resistance. And it's really good getting people's feedback. So there's a couple of things. The first one I want to mention is somebody pointed out that I highlighted one of the key features are these bands, these key levels of support and resistance on multi-time frames. So these are like 4-hour bands where that's like this particular chart, I think it's SPY, has found it's not SPY, it must be ES, has found support and resistance. And so they can often be used as really good turning points. So like around about here, this zone right here, you get a buy signal and you're bouncing off one of these key areas is a good buy time to buy. And then a good time to sell would be when we're hitting these rejection bands and getting a sell signal. And it works pretty well, at least on the longer time frames it does. So I think I mentioned that in my previous video review. It should be embedded here somewhere. Might not have put it in yet. Here we go. So this was the first one, EzAlgo Scammer Legit Real User Review. So it's cool. I think it's fun. It's fairly cheap. I think it's $34 a month, which is not too bad. And basically this was on the longer time frames, and now I'm starting to look at the different things. So again, the multi-time frame support and resistance, apparently I like this a lot, but apparently you can get it for free on TradingView or something similar. So whether this is better, multi-time frame support and resistance on TradingView, I don't know. You could look into that yourself and see maybe you want to superimpose it on something like Algo Pro or one of the other algo systems as well, because it does make for an interesting add like an addition to your charts to help improve it. Anyway, the question from one of my viewers was, does EzAlgo work on the shorter time frames for scalping and things like that? So that's always a thing to explore, right? Like, it's one thing to look at a chart and look on the long time frames and say, hey, it works on a daily or a 4-hour swing trading time frame, but does it work when things get crazy down on like the 1 minute and 5 minute time frames when things are a lot choppier? And so what I had to do that, we're looking at SPY at the moment. This is the sell arrows, this is the buy arrows. These little red crosses are take profit, and take profit for the previous signals. And so the interesting thing with this is there's a sensitivity rating. So if I click on here, we get the sensitivity rating, and when you change time frames, it doesn't automatically change this for you. So you have to change it yourself. So for these shorter time frames, like the 1 minute, you have to put it up towards 6. And for the longer time frames, you put it down towards like 1, so 1.7. Now originally I didn't realize that, and you can see that's like at 1.7. This still kind of works, right? You're still getting some gains, but it's not nearly as good. And so it got really quite bad in some areas of the chart. Like here, you can see just this immediate switch. This is still not too bad though, so it still works even if you do that. But if you go to some of the other areas on the chart, it gets much worse. Like maybe like here, and then here, and here. So you really have to like look through the chart that you like to use, look at the time frame you like to use, and then set this to whatever works best for you. You can try it on 6 and see what 6 looks like, just to see. So maybe you don't want as many trades, but you want trades that work better. So you'll get these long swings up. You also get stopped out pretty quickly, like right here on the ones that lose. Long swing down. This is the 1 minute time frame. Long swing up. You get a little bit of a profit here. Again, this is kind of when you're away from all the resistance zones and stuff, which we are in this particular area of the chart. You're the one that has to decide what your profits are and how you're trading these. What if you're using options or 0DTE options or whatever, you can get away with smaller movements. Maybe you're only needing this type of drop to get 20% or something. And so this signal would be a win for most people that were playing it that way, but it would be a loss if they were waiting for the buy signal to come in. So you've got to come up with your own strategy. That changes a little bit. So you can see this does work on the 1 minute. I mean, these some really good signals all the way up here. So now we're getting up to these bands that I was talking about, these support and resistance bands. These are still on the 1 minute time frame right here. You can start to use them as lines of support and resistance. So we're bouncing off of here. You probably don't want to hold your short if we test this and test it, you know, too many times, because it's likely going to bounce back up and come all the way up, and that's what happened. So this short signal, take some profit here, take some profit here, take some profit here on this cross. If you've any left, take some profit here and don't wait for a retest to start trending up hard against you like that. Similarly on this one, you know, a buy signal, really struggled to get past this resistance point right here on these. So you have to kind of come up with your own strategy, but the short answer is it does work. At least on SPY. I just try and keep things simple and look at SPY all the time. I don't start, I mean, it'd be too hard to show you guys every like ticker, you know, out there. So you can see these levels do hold up well, which is good. But when you're well below them for a lot of the time, like on this part of the charts actually do work really well. You just have to have more of a strict kind of thing. And a lot of people that I know, including myself sometimes, will just take 10% really quickly on these. And you can have a really high win rate just by taking 10% scalps using 1 day or 0DTE options. But you can see we're probably leaving a lot on the table because you can have some really nice runs that just could really run quite a bit. You can see that these are working, these signals. There's some that kind of go sideways. These are all kind of going sideways, but that's because the market's trending sideways, so you're not going to get really a clear answer either way. But then you're getting these really nice signals to the downside, decent to the upside. So you can see it definitely works pretty well on the 1 minute. One thing that's interesting is if we superimpose my favorite one, which is Algo Pro, on top of this. Sometimes the signals match up and sometimes they don't. So you can see this is the EzAlgo sell signal. It's matched with the Algo Pro sell signal right here. But then they start to differ a little bit, so this would be the EzAlgo buy signal, and this is the Algo Pro buy signal. And then Algo Pro doesn't have anything until here, whereas the EzAlgo is putting in kind of a flat signal, right? Like right here, doesn't really mean much. And this is what I'm talking about with Algo Pro being one of my favorites, is it gets rid of all the noise. I can't get rid of these signals with EzAlgo. But they're not there with Algo Pro. So if I get rid of this, you can see we just have this nice smooth up and smooth down, and that's basically keeps things clean and simple and not as messy. So that's why I really like Algo Pro compared to a lot of these things, is there's less signals on the shorter time frames as well, and I guess even better on the longer, as most of these do. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. The guy that was asking about does the system for EzAlgo work on the shorter time frames? It does. It's just not quite as clean perhaps as Algo Pro. So that's definitely a problem, for me at least. But if you saw my previous video, I showed it on the longer time frame, I think the 2 hour time frame. It did a really good job of predicting the uptrend of Jeff Bishop's Bullseye Trades, which is another service I really recommend. So I like it for that. So pros and cons, still trying to test all these things out. I'm testing lots of these different things out. I'm doing Algo Pro, Lux Algo, EzAlgo, TRND bot thing that I'm also going to look at, and another couple that I'm also checking out as well. So there's always going to be fake outs. The shorter time frames tend to have more fake outs than longer time frames. So my advice is maybe to avoid the 1 minute, maybe go to like the 5 minute if possible. That's usually just like a little bit better. So that works. That tends to be the case for all these types of algos. Now, when you change, like I said, when you change the time frame, you're probably going to have to change the signal sensitivity as well. So let's talk a little bit about this to finish off. So this is a good example of something I do like. So we're going to turn the sensitivity down a little bit because we are on a system that's like slightly longer time frame. So I'm just going to turn it down. I don't really know like what exact settings to have, but this one will do for the time being anyway. So anyway, you can see that this last signal worked really well all the way up here. This is the golden pocket that I talked about in a previous video. It's basically 2 key Fibonacci levels, so basically if you come back down and test those, are the ones that are most likely to work. I think it's the 0.61 level area. And so you can see that we had this price move up, come down, test it, and then bounce all the way back up. So if you'd bought in here and you'd been holding this, you just hopefully got some reassurance that this was going to continue based on this golden pocket. So I do like the golden pocket edition, but again, it's not unique to EzAlgo. You can plot something very similar just with a fib, with just plotting the Fibonacci retracements lines on there as well, or extensions. Pretty good. So yeah, that's basically it. You just it's nice when you can see it respect these lines of support as well. Kind of see that in this channel, and when you're in a channel, it's like it's probably best not to take any of these trades, because I think that's one of the big things people always say is like, oh, but there's so many fake signals. Well, but if the market's not trending, then you're not going to get signals, right, that are going to work very well. So you got to learn how to select the ones that are not particularly good. So often these things will have dashboards. I think this one has a dashboard. Let's have a look, and it'll tell you whether it's trending, and if it's not trending, then probably best not to take any signals. So we'll look and see what this dashboard looks like. Yeah, so at the moment it is saying it's bullish, so it's green. These are the different time frames, and the rockets give how bullish it is. So it's very bullish on the weekly and on the 1 hour and 4 hour, but not so much on the middle hours. Obviously, you've got to kind of use that a little bit. Not super helpful, but you can see. I mean, it's obviously bullish if we go to the 1 hour. Then make this. Try and bring this down. I mean, obviously on the 1 hour we're bullish, like right here is the 2 rockets. So yeah, so that means basically the signals are going to work really well, and that you can have more confidence in them as well. But look how well it's respecting this level right here, just kind of flagging along it and then continuing up, flagging along it, continuing up. So pretty nice. Look at this nice bounce. This would be a perfect entry on the 1 hour, right? And just get in here, bounce off this level of support, and get a nice buy sign, and you just ride this thing all the way up. So yeah. Well, hopefully that answers the question. Does this work on the short time frames? It does, but I still prefer the longer time frames if possible for all these algos, including EzAlgo. Alright guys, till next time.